coming out and showing that you really care about this institution and about everything we are taught here. Liberal arts is very important to myself, that's why I'm here. So this is, like with these recent announcements, it's really kind of eroding our true liberal arts nature here in Manchester. So I just want to say thank you to you all for being here. And I hope if you didn't get a program, we have some at both doors, and there's also a little half sheet that has some lyrics on it that we're going to be singing during a procession outside. So we're actually going to be processing to Tall Oaks after the service in here. Everybody's welcome to come, but you're not required to. So just, yeah, thank you for being here.
Siblings in the Manchester community, we gather today to witness the importance of a part of our institution and its identity. Though we come from different home backgrounds, residence halls, departments, majors and minors, we are all bound together through our time together on this campus and the liberal arts education we have received here. Whatever happens, we hold this in our hearts and will bring it with us wherever we go. May this service bind us together in witness as we face the times ahead. Please pause with me for a moment of silence and the invocation. Source of all holiness, you have knit us together in one bond of community and fellowship through our time and experiences here at Manchester University. We come before you in grave concern for a part of our institution that is dear to our hearts. Hear us as we share with one another our grief, bear one another's pain, and witness to our concerns. Work in the hearts of all those involved that your will may be done and we may live together in community, simply, peacefully, and together. Join us together in one body as we share our witness to the importance of the liberal arts at Manchester. Through your energy and support. Amen. Now, let us bear one another's pain, shouldering one another's grief, and walking with each other in love.
Good afternoon, friends. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Mackenzie Wade. I'm a double major in Peace Studies and Social Work, or more simply put, a humanities student, and a disappointed intern at that. I'd like to start off by reading our mission and values statement. Our mission statement is, Manchester University respects the infinite worth of every individual and graduates persons of ability and conviction who draw upon their education and faith to lead principled, productive, and compassionate lives that improve the human condition. And our values statement. As a community of higher education rooted in the liberal arts and the traditions of the Church of the Brethren, Manchester University values learning because high academic expectations in an environment combining liberal arts and professional preparation equip graduates to live healthy, productive, and principled lives. Faith, because our diverse faith calls us to make the world a kinder and better place. Establish justice, build peace, and amid strife, and model agape, tikkun olam, and salam, or translated, selfless love, repairing a broken world, and peace. Service, because committing self and service to others connects faith with actions and abilities with convictions. Integrity, because honesty and trust are the foundations of teaching and learning, enriching enduring relationships, and strong communities. Diversity, because understanding differences develops respect for ethnic, cultural, and religious pluralism, an international consciousness, and an appreciation for the infinite worth of every person and community, because a positive community sharpens self-identity, promotes an acceptance of the demands of responsible citizenship, and transforms conflict into mutual respect. I came to Manchester in the fall of 2016. It was my first choice of school and the only school I chose to visit. I was so proud of being accepted into such a distinguished university, and had everything I thought I would ever want in a school and more. It gave me the kind of education I wanted to leave undergrad with, the professors I can only dream of, and the friendships I knew would last a lifetime, all while getting to live on the most beautiful campus and make some of the best memories. They drew me in with a challenge to chase curiosity and acquire a deeper intellectual understanding of topics and issues that I held close to my heart. They promised to strive to create programs that drive academic excellence and development of the whole person, allowing students to discover their voice and push on their path to self-fulfillment and success through the liberal arts. Since then, not only have I found a home within the walls of Manchester University, but a family as well. And now, here we sit to mourn that same family that helped make me the student that Manchester wants so badly to put forth into this world. It's sad to think that the Manchester experience that I've been having this past year is not the one I was promised and not the one I would recommend to prospective students. Manchester prides itself by allowing students to be their best self, but I question how we as an institution can push our students to be their best selves when our administration doesn't hold themselves to those same standards. How can we respect the infinite worth of every individual when we can't give our own faculty that same kindness? Because it's bioethics with Seth Mayer, environmental and natural resource economics with Ty Robbins, and life and death with Tara Smithson that allow students to be their best selves. My heart aches for students that won't have the opportunity to experience that won't have the opportunity to learn from professors like Seth, Tara, and Ty, because they'll never know what they won't know. How can they find their best selves if they don't know what they're missing? In a liberal arts settings, intellectual fearlessness is achieved through development, competence, community, and character. It doesn't tell students what to think, it teaches them how to think. To give them knowledge and skills to develop the courage to think for themselves and shape their own principles, perspectives, beliefs, and solutions to problems they're faced with. It teaches us endless ways to serve the common good because we have an obligation to serve something bigger than ourselves. It teaches us to celebrate and welcome diversity in our small community by having honest conversations about real issues that surround us in our everyday lives. This is truly a challenging and trying time for our community and our university, and it would be easy to despair, but we must not. We must be optimistic because we know the power of competence, community, and character, even if those who make the important decisions for our university do not. So thank you, liberal arts, for telling me that the world is my oyster. And Manchester, I'm sorry that you were unable to see the impact it made on your students' lives.
For those of you that don't know me, my name's Jesse Langdon, and I'm a junior studying political science and peace studies here at Manchester. I wish that there were a way to accurately express my feelings about recent decisions initiated by President McFadden. Anger, fear, disgrace, letdown, and failure. Although words cannot accurately convey what is going on in my head, these keep resurfacing again and again. I enrolled at Manchester in the spring of 2016. During that time, our country was riddled with contention, anger, debate, and disbelief. When I was looking at schools, I received information about a small liberal arts institution in northern Indiana. I had never even heard of the liberal arts before I received this random piece of mail. After learning more about Manchester's affiliation with the United Nations and the historic founding of the Peace Studies program, I became much more interested in this tiny rural institution. Though Peace Studies was what got me interested in Manchester, I stayed for the liberal arts. The liberal arts education that Manchester prided itself on was appealing to me, as I saw the interdisciplinary structure of the programs as a way to transcend traditional barriers in academics. Not only did liberal arts allow students to study outside their chosen academic programs, but also to be immersed in viewpoints different than their own. By exposing students to different points of view, they are able to develop an understanding of why others think the way that they do, while at the same time better solidifying their own beliefs. By being at a liberal arts institution, I have been exposed to many fields well beyond peace studies and political science. I have taken philosophy, religious studies courses, history, sociology, and even economics. Political science has taught me that politics affects every aspect of our lives. In all of my non-major classes, I have identified areas that are affected by politics in all of these disciplines. This is not something that I was given specific examples of, but rather something that through the liberal arts, I have been able to recognize and intuit for myself. My philosophy courses have helped strengthen my understanding of various political ideologies, and philosophy has helped me to better understand the foundations of democracy and political life. Without the programs that are being cut and strategically weakened by the recent decisions at Manchester, political science and peace studies at Manchester will become severely handicapped in the future. The world needs more Manchester graduates. I'm sure that you all are pretty familiar with that saying. My fear is that in 10 years, this will change to say, the world needs more cookie-cutter, pre-professional graduates who have never been exposed to interdisciplinary thinking. With the announcements made last Monday, President McFadden has made it clear that Manchester should change its traditions and work to assimilate students into the workforce. For me, these announcements signify that the world doesn't need more free thinkers, but more rule followers. President thinks that the world doesn't need more leaders, but actually more middle-level managers. President says that at Manchester, students are a lot more than a number or a statistic. However, this academic year, as I'm sure we're all aware, President has been extremely focused on the number of students at Manchester and the amount of money that they bring in. I came to Manchester to be more than a statistic. And at this institution, I have garnered the education required to be a leader in my community. And every day I use these skills. I have used these skills to lead the Campus Interfaith Board, to present my research, and to expand my worldview. I have used these skills in organizing the student demonstrations against these recent decisions. It is difficult for me to visualize a Manchester without programs that develop these skills, to see a class of Manchester graduates who do not speak a new language, think deeply about the structures of thought and action, and students who do not have exposure to a world of thought that is entirely new. I hope that in a few years, the class of Manchester graduates that comes out of this school are students like my friends and the alumni that I admire, and not students that none of us recognize ourselves in.
Going a little out of order because Virginia is, I believe, speaking the board, so that's amazing. All right, so thank you all for being here to show your support. It is so important that we stand together now. For those who don't know me, my name is Shannon Lee. I'm a senior sociology and religious studies double major from Decatur, Indiana. And most importantly, I'm a student of the liberal arts. 5 years ago, I began my academic journey at Manchester University with completely different ideas about who I was, who others were, and what the world looked like. I was a chemistry major with dreams of pharmacy school. I had no understanding of what the liberal arts were, and I did not care that this was a vital part of this institution. If only I knew that this is what would save me. I enrolled in a religious studies course because I wanted to explore my own faith. From the first day of class, I was confronted with just how much I did not know. This is perhaps why I decided shortly thereafter to become a religious studies major. I like a challenge, and I can't stand being ignorant about anything. I also enrolled in a French language course here, which was even more challenging. I loved it. I considered adding a French major as well, and while it was not the right fit for me, my heart breaks to hear the fate of this program. Later in my first year, as I realized that chemistry was not where my future lied, I had nowhere to turn except into the arms of the liberal arts. They were there for me, showing me things that excited me, challenged me, shocked me, and even some things that broke my heart. But it also showed me how to understand, engage with, and master those things. I learned how to be an advocate and how to build bridges to others' worldviews. I learned about life, death, and everything in between. I found my humanity here. I've always loved Manchester. I toured the campus as a junior in high school and decided right then that this is where I belonged. I was drawn in by the opportunities that Manchester could provide, particularly designing your own academic program, study abroad, and scholarships. As one of the study abroad student assistants, I get to meet with prospective students, just like my younger self, frequently to show them all that Manchester has to offer. It is becoming more difficult to speak to these hopeful students as each week passes. I can no longer say that this is a place where you will discover love in unexpected places, where intellectual and ethical challenges will present themselves, where you can explore the intersections of various disciplines, and where development and prosperity of each and every student is prioritized. I cannot lie to these students. Manchester's spirit is in trouble, and we are falling apart. I'm constantly learning that the programs, courses, and faculty that were so crucial in my development here are being tossed aside in the name of institutional vitality. The core of Manchester's identity is being undermined. The administration and board of trustees are working to strategically phase out these programs, which do not seem valuable for the university or worth the cost. Worth and value do not come from enrollment statistics or new buildings. They come from everything that students receive as they earn their liberal arts degree, each and every part of it. Philosophy, sociology, psychology, environmental science, political science, communication studies, modern languages, and more. To address the administration and board of trustees directly, you are letting us down. We pay our tuition expecting to get what Manchester stands for and has always offered. Preserve the rights of faculty who make this place what it is. Appreciate curriculum diversity. Refocus on student experience and engagement. The charge of this institution is to prepare students for life, not just for jobs. Remind yourselves why Manchester is worth fighting for in the first place, and do not sacrifice that for anything. As a proud liberal arts student, I will acknowledge that I did not care about this guiding principle of my education when I began my 5-year adventure at Manchester. I had no interest in or knowledge of the humanities or social sciences, but these are the things that ended up saving me and making me who I am. I did not know that I loved these yet, as I had never encountered them. The liberal arts were there for me when I was lost in a sea of overwhelming possibilities and fears. The Manchester community was there for me, and today we stand together in solidarity to call attention to what we have lost and to reaffirm Manchester values. When I was writing my religious studies senior comprehensive essays, I cried. I cried because I just can't imagine who I would be without this program, or those professors, or the liberal arts at Manchester. They were happy, reminiscent tears, but now I shed tears of disappointment, betrayal, and grief, for the liberal arts are threatened. I never thought Manchester would lose sight of itself, but here we are. I shudder to think what Manchester will be soon. I shudder to see all the students I've advised about study abroad and about Manchester, who have shown how amazing this place is, to be disappointed and to have a different experience than I had. It's difficult to be a liberal arts student, but this education is the most valuable thing that I have. Manchester is where I learned that I have a voice and that I should use it. Please listen. Thank you.
I am a senior here. I wear many hats. I'm an athlete. I am involved in many things on campus, and as of next weekend, I will be a graduate of this institution, and most importantly, I will be an alumni of this liberal arts program. And my eulogy is entitled A Requiem for the Liberal Arts. I stand in front of you today, hurt, saddened, and angered. Hurt by how members of our community have been treated by our leadership, saddened by the systematic devaluing of people and disciplines and the constant attempts to undercut programs in the humanities. Angry at how dismissive and disrespectful some of our leaders have been towards faculty, staff, my peers, and me. The liberal arts are not dead, yet. We have not given up. The chair of our Board of Trustees, John Zeglis, asked me last night, "What do you think we are trying to do? Bury the liberal arts?" And yes, John Zeglis, that is exactly what you are trying to do. In an attempt to balance the budget, you and others have ripped out our community soul. Because we are broadly educated in the liberal arts, peace studies, history, art, sociology, rhetoric, we were able to quickly and effectively organize to demonstrate to campus leadership that programs like French, economics, philosophy, and physical education are worthy of more than closed-door conversations and rushed announcements. Because we are broadly educated in the liberal arts and we know what is happening on our campus is ethically wrong. Our professors are being demoralized, forced to participate in process after process only to have their voices and recommendations ignored in favor of short-sighted, convenient for a select few solutions. Last night at the philanthropy dinner, I consistently heard, "We want what is best for our students." Then listen to us. Read our surveys. We rate our faculty and educational programs as top-notch. So those are the things with which we are most satisfied. Those programs are what set us apart in that workforce with which senior leadership is obsessed. Not, unfortunately, the molding of my mind or thinking skills. This assault on our general education program and faculty resources is unprecedented. Our administration is attacking the academic freedom of faculty. We cannot idly stand by. Our president is not a teacher and should not be entrusted or allowed to develop a curriculum. Let the faculty do their work. As more young faculty grapple with walking away or are being cut from our beloved institution, what Manchester risks is losing the depth and tenacity of our incredible people, the loyalty of our community to a shared vision. That mission statement to which our leadership claims to be so tethered is comprised of 6 parts: learning, faith, service, integrity, diversity, and community. Each has slowly been eroding for the past 5 years. Manchester is not the same, but they say we must adjust to the market. Who better to adjust to a market than a young person who can speak another language, understand his neighbor's religion, has a fundamental understanding of economics, politics, sociology, psychology? Who better to do any job than a young person who is mediation trained or converse intellectually about nearly any subject? Who better to do anything than a liberal arts graduate? The value of a college education is not in the learning of many facts, but the training of a mind to think, Einstein says. Although we are gathered here today to celebrate the life of the liberal arts at Manchester, know that she is far from dead. Because of our education, we will fight for her to live on. We will fight for the dignity of our faculty and staff and the students who came before us. Others have to know that our current situation is not sustainable. Senior leadership must change. The disintegration of Manchester's community must be stopped. Thank you.
afternoon, and welcome to our service. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael LaRue. I'm a senior sociology major with a peace studies minor. It truly does make my heart soar that so many people came here to pay their respects to our recently murdered curriculum. I knew the Manchester Liberal Arts curriculum well because I've been completely immersed in it for the last 4 years. I didn't come to Manchester as a humanities student. I came with the idea of going directly into a professional career within athletic training. But because of the core requirements, I realized very quickly that that's not what I wanted to do. I bounced around between psychology, religious studies, economics, and I finally found a home within the sociology department that is offered here at Manchester University. This curriculum has pushed me to the very abyss and brought me back again. It has taught me to think critically and explore all possible options before making a decision. It was here at Manchester where I came to truly believe what other students have told me, that high school teaches you what to think, while college teaches you how to think. This isn't true of all other colleges. There are hundreds of other colleges throughout this country that just push out, as Jesse stated previously, cookie-cutter individuals who are no different than each other. This is not true of Manchester, or at least it wasn't true in my time here. But that is not true moving forward with the present decisions that have been made by our administration. But the truth of it is that as a senior, this doesn't affect me that much. I will, in 8 days' time, I will walk into the perk, I will hear my name called, I will walk across the stage, shake hands with faculty and other administration, get my degree, and walk home. Well, not walk, but leave. But what I have been forced to realize over the last several days is that as I walk out of Manchester, part of Manchester leaves with me. As I walk out, so goes the French program. So goes the option for any prospective students to major or minor in French. Also goes with me a French professor who was recently hired and was under no circumstances given adequate amounts of time to attempt to save her major. As I walk out, so go economics and philosophy department. While the departments that I mentioned were not completely cut, their staff have been substantially dwindled. Because of this, the course load that is placed on the remaining professors will be immense. And because of this immense course load, the administration will have cause to remove these disciplines from the core requirements, thus removing the ability of students to fall in love with those, as I did with sociology. As I walk out, so I know that there are other potential majors that might follow with me. I understand the reason that the administration is cutting these programs. And I understand that sociology, the discipline that I major in, does not graduate many seniors at all every year, and I know that they could very easily be next. But most importantly, what I have learned in these past several weeks is that as I walk out of Manchester one last time, the liberal arts curriculum will go with me. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I am going to read a eulogy on behalf of an English education student. Today, we are gathered to mourn not just the death, but the murder of the liberal arts. In light of this death by institutional vitality, I would like to say that I am afraid of living in a world with no liberal arts education, because I don't want to live in a world where people aren't taught to think in a different way than they always have. A liberal arts education challenges students to look at the world through several different lenses, which not only creates well-rounded citizens of this society in a time when we so desperately need it, but it also adds dimensionality to careers. As a prospective English teacher, I will be a better educator because of my liberal arts education. I know how to stand up for my fellow female coworkers and students because of my feminist theory course. I understand morality in a manner that has allowed me to shape the way in which I would like to manage my classroom because of the philosophy course. I can easily correct student behavior due to knowledge of how adolescent minds work because of the psychology course. I have a higher chance of connecting with my English language students because of my language courses. Without my liberal arts education, I would have very little to offer the future generations as I transition from being educated to educating, and I certainly would not be able to use my ability to teach as a way to improve the human condition. More importantly, without a liberal arts education, I would not be standing up for what I believe in by writing this. So I mourn. I mourn for myself,
my peers, and those at Manchester who have taught me. Mostly, I mourn for those who will never have the opportunity to experience a liberal arts education, because in the real world, it makes a difference. In closing, as I say my last goodbye to the education that helped define who I am, I would like to highlight a quote by Henry Giroux that states, "As the humanities and liberal arts are downsized, privatized, and commodified, higher education finds itself caught in the paradox of claiming to invest in the future of young people while offering them few intellectual, civic, and moral supports." I don't think he could be any more right. Using institutional vitality to kill a liberal arts program that so many people in this community care about is not respecting the infinite worth of every individual, just the ones it benefits.
Hello again. In conjunction with being a student concerned about my liberal arts education, I am also a man of faith. I am not Christian, Jewish, or Muslim. I am Baha'i. My time at Manchester has been one of religious exploration and appreciation. My freshman year, I applied to be on Manchester's Campus Interfaith Board. I have previously served as treasurer for this group, and I am currently finishing out my term as president for the board. This academic year, I've had the pleasure of working in the Office of Religious Life as one of Manchester's first interfaith programmers. Over these past few years, I have gained a lot of appreciation for faiths other than my own, especially those that have been historically underrepresented in the Manchester community. I wanted to use my position as an interfaith activist in this community to draw attention to something that has laid heavy on my heart over the past couple weeks. With the recent announcements comes some troubling news. It pains me to say, but through the administration's decisions, they have chosen to fire members of our community, which constitute the entirety of our Jewish faculty, as well as one of our only Muslim community members. I do not believe that Pres Dave or other administrators maliciously set out to fire these individuals, nor do I think it was a conscious decision to discriminate in this way. What I do know is that all of these recent changes are going to have ripple effects at Manchester, and what I have just told you is one of them. This takes a severe blow to staff and faculty diversity and weakens the interfaith programs that students plan on campus. When I came to this institution, I was under the understanding that this was a place which welcomed people of all races, ethnicities, and faith traditions. I knew that Manchester prided itself on diversity. These firings are one of many instances I've experienced in my time at Manchester that speaks to the contrary of that. My heart aches for these fellow men of faith, and my heart aches to know how severely our administrators lack conviction, faith, and any sort of compassion for these beloved members of our community. Thank you. Okay, I'm back again. So this kind of ends our service here in the chapel, and now we're going to have a procession out on the mall, and then along East Street in front of the Shinworth Center where the board is currently touring. If those of you, if you all want to come and be a part of this, please come and congregate out in front of the chapel, and we will direct you over that way. And those of you that made signs, they're in the back. You can go ahead and pick them up. But we'll start that in about 5 minutes. Thank you all for coming.